Hey, what's up? We're back, and this week it's for UFC 234. But first, we're going to go back. We're going to talk about UFC on ESPN2 real quick. And, overall, we did a decent job because this was a pretty hard card to predict. I saw a lot of people were very off with their predictions. And so, overall, I think we did a decent job. We really bounced back after having a terrible start to the card, which we're about to recap right now. But the first fight of the night was Rogerio Bontorin against Magomed Bibulatov. And to be honest, this was part of our parlay of the week, and I thought that Bob Bibulatov did enough to get the win there. He had 4 takedowns to 1 takedown. He had more significant strikes. Bontorin did a good job attacking with those submissions near the end of the rounds, kind of to steal the rounds, and it was in Brazil, man. So that's what happened, and Bontorin was able to get the win there, even though I thought Bibulatov should have got it done. But so up next they had Said Nurmagomedov against Ricardo Ramos, and that was great performance by Said Nurmagomedov. He went in there, he dominated Ramos and took him out very quickly, had great movement. That body kick was really nice and just finished him off. And, I heard Marlon Moraes today on the Ariel Helwani MMA show. He was saying that Ramos was actually struggling with that same sickness that he had. So I don't know if that had anything to do with this bad performance, but Said either way went in there and he did what he had to do. He dominated a guy and took him out. So great performance by Said there. And at 135, Said probably is due a top 15 opponent now. He just fought a guy that was 3-0 in the division and took him out in less than 3 minutes. So definitely deserves to step up there. And up next, Geraldo de Freitas gets Colares. And, Colares I thought just didn't really look very good. He didn't look like he was UFC level. Needs to kind of grow his game a little bit. Maybe not sure if he's going to stick around to the UFC. Maybe they'll give him another chance, but I do think he needs to, just improve his skills a little bit. And for Geraldo, I thought he looked, he looked okay. I didn't think he was anything spectacular, but he was able to go in there and get the win. And, he was able to dominate the action and almost finish Colares. So good job by De Freitas and, a decent fight overall. And then up next, Jairzinho Rozenstruik against Junior Albini. And, Albini went with the game plan trying to take him down like I expected if he wanted to get the win there. And he had some limited success early on in the first round. He took him down. Jairzinho was able to get up. And then, in that second round, he just got finished off very quickly, got head kicked. And, finished with punches, got knocked out. And that's, I think, 3 losses in a row for Junior Baby Albini. And probably is on the verge of getting cut. If he doesn't get cut, maybe you have one last chance, but I probably feel like he probably will get cut. And for Jairzinho, that was a pretty big win, but definitely showed his limitations there with his grappling and definitely needs to go back and improve that if he wants to have any chance against the higher level guys in the UFC. But up next, we had Thiago Alves against Max Griffin. And, man, in this fight, I kind of feel bad for Max Griffin, man. I really thought he won this fight. Thiago had a good performance, especially that second round. He started to put it on Griffin a little bit, but Griffin had him almost finished at the end of the first round. Thiago was saved by the bell. Took him down multiple times in the third round. 4 or 5 times. And, had probably 3-4 minutes of top control in that round. So definitely thought he did enough to win, but the judges gave it to Alves, so not much you could say there. Big win from Alves. Obviously, he needed that to extend his career, and it looks like he is going to extend his career. For Max Griffin, that's a pretty tough loss, man. If he would have got the win there, he would have been right back hovering around that top 15, top 25 competition, and I feel like maybe the UFC will count this as a win and just still give him that opportunity, but now there's nothing promised, and he might have to go back, fight, a top 40, 45 guy and try to work his way back up to that top 15 to 25, realm of fighters, which is a little unfortunate for Max Griffin, but, that's what happened. And then up next, we had Taila Santos against Mauro Barella, and, I was a little bit disappointed in Taila Santos, man. I had a bet on her. I still thought she won the fight, but, man, I don't know what was her game plan in the first round. I feel like she maybe got too little overconfident when she was able to take the back of Barella and almost get the submission, that she was a better grappler than her. I'm not really sure, because you saw in the third round when she was disengaging, when she was using her footwork, using her striking, Barella had nothing for her. She couldn't take her down. She couldn't keep her in the clinch, and Santos dominated that third round. And if she would have just fought like that for the entirety of the fight, definitely would have got the win there. But I guess it's a learning lesson for Taila Santos, and a big win for Barella. She was the underdog there. Now she's kind of cemented herself as a top 15, top 10 gatekeeper in my opinion, because she had a very close fight with Chukagian, just took out Santos in a kind of a controversial fight, but she got the win there, and so she'll probably get another chance at the top 10, top 15, but I still am not sold on Barella in terms of being a true contender in that division. And for Taila Santos, I actually think she has more upside, but she definitely needs to go in there with a better game plan and, not get started so slow. I mean, it could be octagon jitters, it could be anything, but definitely needs to pick up that output earlier on and not just work to her opponent's strengths as much. And up next, we had Marcus Perez versus Anthony Hernandez, and Marcus Perez was getting it put on him a little bit in that first round. Hernandez was landing some nice shots. Perez was going back at him a little bit, but it was still kind of one-sided traffic in that first round. And then that second round, Maluko was able to clip him. He hit him with a big shot and then sunk in that anaconda and finished the fight. So Maluko Perez gave, Anthony Hernandez his first loss, a veteran lesson, and took him out. And, big win for Maluko Perez. He obviously is an entertaining guy. He's going to keep a spot in the company now guaranteed, and he'll probably get another chance to fight at maybe a top 15 fighter. Who knows? I mean, it's possible, but Maluko, he definitely still looks like he's, not anywhere near the title, but he's a fun fighter to watch. He's exciting, and he just beat an up-and-coming prospect, so great job by Maluko there. And then up next, Livia Hinato Souza. She fought against Sarah Frota, and this was another controversial fight. I actually thought Souza won. I thought she won the first 2 rounds, but, it was some people that were leaning towards Sarah Frota winning that fight, but, Frota came in there 7 pounds heavy. She was 123 pounds. And Livia Souza already is, notorious for being one of the smallest girls of that 115-pound division. So it truly was a very, very big deal for her to come in that heavy. It was a huge advantage. You could see the significant size advantage of the cage. So I was happy to see Souza be on the right end of that decision either way, because I feel like she was the one that came in there professional, and she deserved to, if it's a close fight, I feel like the one that comes in odd weight, that did everything correct, probably should deserve to win, especially because she came in there with a bit of an unfair advantage. So, good win there by Livia Souza. I feel like now she's going to get a chance to fight a top 15 fighter. She's 2-0 in the UFC, former Invicta champion, and I feel like she'll probably fight someone on the, the 10 to 15 range of the top 15. And for Sarah Frota, that wasn't a bad loss. She went toe-to-toe with a girl like Souza. I guess she's going to have to figure out that weight issue. She's going to go to 25s. I feel like at 25 she could be a force with almost all those girls. Her versus Nico Montano, who was the girl that won tough and the first champion of that division. To me that's not a fight where she'd be out of her depth at all in terms of competition level. So Frota, if she does decide to move to 125, I feel like there's a lot of fun matchups for her there. And if she wants to figure out the weight, stay at 115, there's obviously some fun matchups there as well. So she's going to be in the UFC for a while, in my opinion. And then up next, Johnny Walker against Justin Ledet. And, the hype train Johnny Walker just keeps on going, right? Didn't get to see much here. 15 seconds, you got a hook kick, spinning back fist, knockout. And that was it, really. And really, the more entertaining part of the fight was Johnny Walker's dancing, man. Coming to the cage. I'm not a big fan. I don't know. I don't want to say it is funny, I guess, but a little bit goofy. The worm in the cage, that was kind of hilarious, to be honest. But, I don't know. Johnny Walker, he's looking pretty good. I'm still not 100% sold on him in terms of being like a top 5 guy or someone that's going to be challenging for a title, but definitely need to give him a step up, give him a top 15 fighter, maybe give him a wrestler, and see if he can handle that challenge. And if he can handle that challenge, and I think you should throw him right into that top 5. Like, if you give him a guy like, even a guy that's not necessarily near the top of the division, just like a Patrick Cummings, a very solid wrestler, a tough guy, maybe Amisha Serkinov. And if he could win that fight, I think you could propel him right into those matchups with the guys in like the top 3, top 5, the Jan Blachowicz, the Thiago Santoses, names like that. But I still think he needs to prove himself one more time. And, he's very interesting. And for Justin Ledet, that's 2 losses in a row at 205. And he's kind of in a weird spot because he just got destroyed in the first fight at 205. And then this fight he gets knocked out in 15 seconds. So hasn't had a great showing at all at 205 pounds. But you'd imagine that still having a winning record in the UFC that he's going to get one more chance. And, we'll see what he could do, what he actually gets to show off something, because he didn't really get to do much of anything in this fight. Then up next, Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx gets David Taymor, and man, Du Bronx just put it on Taymor, man. Taymor in the first round, everyone knows he has some of the best eye pokes in the game, and he finally got called out with it, man. I agreed with that ref decision 100% to take the point, and it was a blatant eye poke. It looked like it was on purpose from Taymor, and so I thought that was a very good decision to take that point. And Oliveira, after he felt the power of Taymor, like I said, if Taymor didn't have the power, if someone doesn't, a lot of people I've said it in the past as well, that Oliveira is a quitter, which, I think if you put him in a terrible situation, he still has that tendency to, break a little bit. But if he feels your power, like he felt Taymor's, like I said previously, like he felt Anthony Pettis's, and he says, okay, this guy can't hurt me, he becomes super aggressive, man, and he starts walking you down. He'll start eating your shots, calling you out, and you saw that in this fight. He started backing up Taymor, throwing crazy stuff, flying knees, landing some big shots, and he ended up getting the submission, but it was really almost like a standing knockout, man. Taymor turned his back after he was getting lit up with big elbows, and then he jumped on the Anaconda choke and tapped him out, man. So huge win for Du Bronx. He extends his streak of most submissions in UFC history with 13, his win streak to 4, and 4 straight finishes as well. So Du Bronx is on a huge run now. Definitely probably got to give him a guy in the top 10 and see if he can compete there. But I saw a statistic also. Du Bronx has the most submissions at 145 history and 155-pound history. So 2 divisions where he's has tied for the most submissions in the history of the division. So, that's a dangerous guy there at 45 or 55. He could take you out anytime, and he proved it once again there coming in. Actually, I feel like he was the underdog, and then he flipped to a favor. But he came in, he got the job done. And then up next, Damian Maia gets Lyman Good. Kind of went almost exactly how I pictured it, Damian Maia just was able to get the single leg, take the back, control on the back for a little bit, and submit Lyman Good, man. And, I thought Lyman Good he definitely should have showed some more urgency in terms of trying to get out of that choke. He can't just stand there. You have to try to maybe spike Damian Maia. He did a decent job of fighting the hands, but when you're in that position with a guy like Damian Maia, you can't just sit there and do that the whole time. Eventually, he's going to get it under your neck. So you have to do something. Especially when he has the standing rear naked, and the way that Lyman Good isn't a jiu-jitsu guy. So I feel like he had to have tried to do something explosive to get out of there, especially when they're so dry like that, but he didn't, and Maia was able to sink it in. Got his 20th win in the UFC, and, just spectacular. Vintage Damian Maia didn't even take a strike in that fight, and, he looks like he's ready to go. He called out Michael Chiesa, which I think he would do very well in that matchup. So maybe if he gets that fight, goes up to 21 wins, becomes the second most winningest fighter in UFC history, and continues his campaign for a UFC Hall of Famer. And up next, Jose Aldo against Renato Moicano. And man, this was again one of my favorite cashes of in a long time, man. I love cashing on Jose Aldo on these bets when people are starting to count him out now. An underdog to Renato Moicano, an underdog to Jeremy Stephens, and comes out there, shuts everyone up, knocks both these guys out, finishes them pretty brutally. I saw people saying that was an early stoppage with the Moicano fight, but he was gonna. If you wanted him to knock him out unconscious, he could have done that, I guess. But Moicano turned his back. He was done, man. Moicano wasn't gonna come back and finish the fight or come. That fight was over. Aldo was hitting that left hook to the body, left hook to the head, and man, Renato, he came out with that game plan that I said he probably should have used, where he was using that range game with Jose Aldo. He was letting Jose Aldo read everything he was doing in that first round. And then in the second round, when tried to get a little bit aggressive with Aldo knew exactly what he's going to do. And he said, boom, just hit him with that left hook. Hit him with the left hook again, swarmed him, and took Moicano out, man. He proved he's still one of the best fighters in the division. And, man, I saw a bunch of guys calling him out now. It's fashionable to call it Jose Aldo now when I guess people think he's vulnerable. I don't know. I saw Brian Ortega calling him out. Um, I saw who else was calling. I saw Ortega was calling. There was other names calling him out as well. I'm drawing a blank right now, but or yeah, I can't remember who. Or Volkanovski, that was another guy that was calling him out. Volkanovski, Ortega. I feel like even someone else, but any of those fights would be interesting. And we'll see what happens with Aldo, but he definitely has proven that he's still with it, man. He could still beat anyone in the world, and he's still one of the best fighters around. And for Moicano, he's still young. He's definitely going to be back. I thought he probably maybe edged that first round, so it's not like he had a pitiful performance in this fight. So, he just got caught by one of the best of all time and taken out, and no shame in that. You saw Aldo was so excited, man. He did that Khabib jump out the cage, jump to the crowd. I mean, I love watching Aldo fight in Brazil, but the main event, Marlon Moraes gets a Sun Sao, and Moraes took him out early again, man. First round finish for Marlon Moraes, and if this guy doesn't get a title shot, I mean, that's pretty pitiful on the UFC's part. I mean, I feel like he's done everything you could do to earn a title shot. 4 finishes of top, 5 guys, all in the first round, or 3 finishes in a row, all in the first round. Just dominating these guys. And, man, I mean, he looked great. He had a great call out of TJ Dillashaw after the fight. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like he deserves that title shot. And it's a tough loss for Sun Sao, man. I mean, 36 or 37 years old now. He was 11-1 in the division. Probably should have gotten a title shot previously multiple times. They kept passing him over, and now it looks like it's going to be very, very hard for him to ever be in a position to win a UFC title. So tough luck for Rafael Sutsal, but big win for Moraes. And, we'll see if Moraes gets that title shot. Him versus TJ Dillashaw will be a hell of a fight. And Sutsal obviously is still a beast, man. He can still compete with a lot of guys. He was expressing that he still wanted to fight, and I would still love to watch him fight. So he's going to be right back in it. He's going to be fighting the top names as well. And, we'll see if he can put another streak together himself. But we're going to be moving on now to UFC 234 with Whittaker versus Gastelum. And this is a pretty great... It maybe lacks the names, noticeable names, but in my opinion, there's a lot of very good matchups. A lot of interesting fights. Obviously, Adesanya versus Anderson is it's like a dream type of fight. So we get some fun fights mixed in on the card. We get to see Ricky Simón again, who, obviously I've been very high on if you've been watching my videos. And, but first fight of the night is going to be Luigi Buren. He's going to be taking on Jonathan Martinez. And Luigi's actually training at Jackson Wink again for this camp, so he's getting some good trading. Luigi is 0-2 in the UFC. Definitely needs a win to stay in the organization. And Jonathan Martinez, he's a flyweight. Came up against Andre Sukoptath to 35. Had that loss. Looked undersized in my opinion. And, I feel like he's just here at 35 because the UFC's iffy on if they're going to keep the 25-pound division. But Martinez is a decent striker. Has good kicking technique. He's a southpaw. He has a good body kick, good straight left hand. He will throw a body kick, left hook combination. He'll throw a lot of rear leg head kicks as well. And he likes to throw inside leg kicks. He has good front kicks to the body. He'll throw oblique kicks to the knees as well. He will throw a jab left hook combination with and as well as a right hook left uppercut combination. He has decent hands. He doesn't have great footwork. He's far too flat-footed. He will stay in front of opponents. He's hittable, and he's willing to take shots and counter. He does have solid power, 5 KO TKOs on his record, solid chin as well. He showed a lot of resilience in his last fight. He was hurt several times to the head, to the body, gets Sukoptath, but he was able to not just recover, but he was able to do some things himself. And he's never been finished by strikes in his whole career. And he's a solid jiu-jitsu player. He's tricky off his back. He'll duck under the clinch at times. He does a good job with head positioning, moving his opponent's backs to the cage. He was dominating the clinch. He was hit to the body with big knees, with shots to the head. He was being way too defensive in his last fight against Sukoptath. He has good body lock takedowns against the cage. He also has good single legs. If he can't get them, he'll throw hard elbows when he disengages. And he has good control at half guard. He'll throw hard elbows from that position as well. He does a good job moving to side control. He'll scramble to the back. Decent rear naked chokes. His takedown defense is questionable, but he is pretty good off his back. He's good with attacking with triangles. He'll transition a triangle to an R bar. And he's very tough. He could weather a storm. He could come back. And he has good cardio. He just needs this fight on the feet, in my opinion. He needs to utilize range striking to defeat Buren. He needs to use more lateral and in and out movement to negate opportunities for Buren to take him down. And, try to maybe hurt Buren, finish him off with submission on the ground. Or, if Buren starts to get desperate for those takedowns, maybe try to jump on the back and a submission that way. But I feel like striking is probably his best path to victory in this fight. And for Buren, he's in dire need of a win. He's a physical grappler. He's going to have a significant size advantage in this fight, in my opinion. I also believe he's going to have a sizable strength advantage. He's kind of stiff as a striker, but he's aggressive. He'll throw with power. He has a stiff jab, overhand right. He'll throw 1-2s down the middle. He throws heavy leg and body kicks. He's always going forward. He kind of fights at a kinetic pace. He'll throw spinning back kicks to the head. He can get clipped with shots coming in. He can run in with shots, taking power off them as well. And his main goal is to get the fight to the mat. But he only has one KO, TKO in his career. He's not a power striker. He has been finished via strikes twice. He was finished in his last fight against Marlon Vera. He was actually winning that fight previously to that. But Buren is a dogged wrestler. He's always trying to get the fight to the mat. His best takedown is his single leg. And when he gets a hold of a leg, he'll turn the corner, off balance opponents, dump them on their backs. If they try to limp leg out, he does a good job staying connected, jumping on the back or a front headlock position. He'll throw hard overhead rights directly into single legs. He'll shoot doubles as well off the overhead rights. He will lean on opponents in the clinch. He does a good job getting body locks and then dumping people directly into half guard, just making people work if they stand up, retaking them down. And he will continuously shoot takedowns, break the rhythms of strikers, and he has the cardio to push for all 3 rounds at that fast pace. He's going to be the physically stronger fighter. He needs to use that to his advantage in this match. He needs to close the distance, get in a boxing range, land shots, duck under, get takedowns. He needs to be safe on top, past the guard of Martinez, control. And he is dangerous with submissions. He has good arm triangles. He has decent rear naked chokes. He has 4 submissions himself. He has been submitted one time, but I'm going to go with Luigi Buren here in the upset. I see him having a good size advantage. I see him being able to come forward, eat the shots of Martinez, impose his will. I see him getting takedowns and just racking up top control time, cage control time, and winning a decision here. I think Martinez is a guy that's much better suited for 125 pounds, and we've seen Luigi Buren fight fighters like Rolando D at 145 pounds, and he's a pretty big fighter, so I feel like he's going to be able to just use that physicality, use the game plan that he likes, the takedowns, and win the fight via decision through that. So I'm going to go with Luigi Buren to get the upset victory over Jonathan Martinez via decision in that fight. Up next, we have Jalen Turner against Callan Potter, and this is a very interesting fight. Callan Potter is a guy that's well known out there in Australia on the regional scene. He's 34 years old. He's definitely paid his dues. You see his record right there at 17-7. He has quite a few regional championships, so people are probably going to be excited to see him fight here and happy that he gets this opportunity. But Jalen Turner, he's going to be looking to bounce back from his UFC debut. Suffered that bad knockout loss at the hands of Vicente Luque. He's normally a 155 outside the UFC, but this fight is once again at 170. He's going to be facing Callan Potter. He's a UFC newcomer from Australia. He's actually taking the fight on short notice, and he's replacing Alex Gorgees. He has about 2 weeks for this fight, so isn't taking this fight in the longest amount of time, but he's actually normally a 155er as well. And so I feel like maybe that's why that they're doing this fight at 170. It's 2 smaller guys in this matchup. And Potter, but he maybe doesn't want to cut the weight, obviously. That's what I meant for that. But Potter's an experienced fighter. He has earned his stripes in the regional scene, over 20 fights. And, he's not the most athletic guy. He's going to be much slower than Turner. He's a plotter. He's stiff. He keeps a high guard. He'll throw a jab straight right hand, nice rear leg body kicks. He really relies on his toughness to close the distance, throw in combination in the pocket, try to make it ugly, throw straight right hand, lead uppercut combinations. He'll attack the body with hooks, and he'll throw a check left hook, then crash in the clinch. He does have tricky head kicks that look like they're going to go to the body, and he has 3 head kick knockouts, so that is a little bit of an interesting wrinkle into a guy's game that isn't the most athletic guy. But he does duck his head a lot. He doesn't move his head. He's extremely hittable. And eventually his chin's not going to be able to take that anymore. He has been finished 3 times via strikes. But overall, striking is a means to an end. He uses it to close the distance. He does have decent power if he can lay a clean. He can knock opponents out. He has 6 KO TKOs in his career. He has a good chin, like I said. He's tough. but he's very hittable. He's been finished 3 times via strikes, and eventually that's going to go away. But Potter's always looking to get a hold of opponents, grind. He does a great job using his punches to create opportunities to duck under, get in the clinch. He's strong in the double underhooks position. He likes to push opponents against the cage, throw hard knees to the body, to the head, and he'll throw hard hooks as well to the body. And he has no problem grinding opponents on the cage. He's just winning the decision, being boring. He doesn't have great takedowns, but he's very active looking for body lock takedowns. He wears on fighters by just leaning on them, by just forcing takedown attempts. Even if they don't get him, they're forced to work. He has great cardio. He continues to push for takedowns. They become easier in the later rounds as his opponents start to gas. And he has good judo toss as well. And when he gets on top, he's very good. He works very quickly. He has good guard passing. He'll immediately move to the mount where he's very heavy. You'll constantly be searching for guillotines, rear naked chokes. He'll transition from the back mount to the back mount, to the mount, to the back, and just keep going back and forth, slowly cooking opponents. And he has 10 submissions, but he has been submitted 4 times. He needs to stay attached to Turner the entire fight, try to completely avoid a striking match. He needs to get to Turner. He needs to push him against the cage. He needs to get in top position. And when he gets in top position, he has pretty nasty ground and pound. He has, dangerous submission. So I think if he can get on top of Jalen Turner even one time, if there's enough time in the round where he could work a little bit, I feel like he's going to diminish Turner. So I definitely think that he's a live underdog in this fight. And for Jalen Turner, he's a very tall, long striker. He's very athletic. He's going to be the much faster, more explosive fighter than Potter. He's only 23 years old. He should be improving rapidly every time out. He has a very nice straight left hand. It's very fast. He has a good check left hook, strong inside leg kicks, good body kicks, nice straight left hand into a knee to the body combination. And he has good front kicks to the body. He has solid lateral footwork. He does a good job landing a shot and angling off the cage. He does an excellent job as well of ripping the body with hooks. He has big power on the shots. He will throw nice head kicks, especially when he has opponents backed up against the cage. He'll get a little bit creative with that position. He'll throw nice standing elbows. He will go for the kill with head kicks. And, he's a finisher. He doesn't move his head much. He has had major chin problems in his career himself. He's been finished 4 times via strikes. He was knocked out pretty brutally in his last fight. And, so he definitely needs to avoid getting hit, needs to avoid getting put on the ground and grounded pounded because, obviously he has a questionable chin. And at only 23 years old, that's a little bit hard to see. He only has 11 fights. He's been finished 4 times, 3 times in his pro career, 1 time in his amateur career. But he does have 6 KO TKOs himself and 7 wins, so he has that power. And he's a decent grappler. He uses link to his advantage. He has good sprawls on takedown attempts. He'll attack with front chokes. He does a good job creating scrambling scenarios right away when the fight hits the ground, just scrambling back to his feet. He does go for double legs when he gets hurt, but overall he's not a great wrestler. If he does get put on his back, he isn't very good either. He doesn't do much off his back. He can be controlled for entirety of the round. And he needs to go forward. He needs to not allow Potter to push it back to the cage. This fight's on the feet. He has a major speed advantage. He can easily knock Potter out. He needs to avoid being put on his back along with getting hit with the big shot. But I'm actually going to take a big underdog shot on Potter here. I know he's outgunned athletically, but he's very tough. He has a big grappling advantage. He has the better durability, in my opinion. If he can get inside, get this fight to the ground, I see him softening up Turner majorly, maybe even KOing him with elbows. And the pick is Callan Potter via second round KO, TKO with ground and pound. I just think that he's going to want this fight. He sees the opportunity he has here. He's fighting in his home country. He's been wanting this for a long time to fight in the UFC. He's been called for it. If you go on his Instagram, he's been called for it for a long time. You see him with guys like Jimmy Crute. You see him with guys like Israel Adesanya, who are both on this card. So it's going to see some familiar faces, going to feel right in his element. And I feel like he's going to come in there as a champ in other organizations, and he's going to take out Jalen Turner. And we'll see what he does after that. But I think he's going to take out Jalen Turner, and I'm going to go with him via second round knockout in this fight. Up next, we have a pretty fun potential striking fight here with Marcos Mariano, Rosa, and Lando Vannata. And, Mariano, he looks like he's specifically just a kickboxer. So, Groovy Lando definitely has the more tools in his toolbox. But if he just wants to make this a striking fight, it's going to be interesting for sure. But Lando Vannata, he looked a little bit more like himself in a knockdown drag-out war with Matt Frevola in his last fight. He also signed a new contract with the UFC. So obviously they like him. They think that he's very entertaining, which he is. He's always in amazing fights. And so he's going to be sticking around. But, he's stunned. He almost finished Rawle multiple times. But he was tested. He took a lot of big shots himself. The shots are definitely starting to add up in terms of how many times he's been getting hit in his fights. And he's going to be taking on that UFC debutant with a salty 6-4 record. But Mariano, he's a kickboxing world champion. He's a very long fighter. And, he has a wide stance. He has a good jab. He has heavy low kicks. He definitely needs space to be successful. He throws a lot of front kicks, front knees to the body. He has good distance control. He's good in and out movement, but he's very wild. He'll throw a ton of spinning back kicks to the body, to the head. He'll throw flying knees. And he has kind of that tall man defense. Instead of moving his feet, he just leans back. He does that against Lando. I could see him getting knocked out with a head kick, but he doesn't have big power. He relies more on volume. He just has 2 KO TKOs. He has been KO'd once, but he's very explosive. He's very athletic. He can close distance quickly. And, if he could close distance, land a big kick, land a big shot of Vannata, who doesn't move his head, doesn't have great defense, definitely could take him out. But Mariano is not a good grappler. His takedown defense is very bad. He backs himself up to the cage. It only makes it easier to take him down. He is decent in the clinch. He has that plum. He gets aggressive with knees and elbows, but he can be taken down in the clinch very easily as well, along with doubles against the cage. Off his back, he will attack initially in his guard. He has decent leg locks. He'll try to stand up. But once opponents get established on top, he does nothing, man. He lies flat on his back. He allows fighters to beat him up, good in dominant positions. He is calm. He won't panic, but his ground game needs major work. He has been submitted twice in his career. He has 1 submission. His cardio is not great either. He slows down in round 3 due to all the explosive movements he does. And he's in for a tough fight here. He can't end up on his back in this fight. He needs to try to keep the distance, time Vannata coming in with a big kick or big knee, knock him out, try to goad him into a war, and just keep it on the feet, make it a fun striking fight. And, it's possible he could get Vannata to do that because Vannata obviously loves to do that for the fans. And Vannata's had some super fun fights in the UFC. I mean, who else would be, still in the UFC getting a new contract with a record of 1-3-2, but obviously Vannata puts on a fun fight every time he's out there, so they're giving him a new contract. It's crazy. He's 2 draws in 5 UFC fights, but he's had some super fun fights. He always takes a lot of damage. He always deals out a lot of damage. He looked improved in his last fight compared to his prior 2, but his defense is still lacking. He has left Jackson Wink. He says he feels reinvigorated. He's training at Jackson's MMA with just Greg Jackson, now with Winklejohn, which I don't know what happened with them, but Vannata is a dynamic striker. He has good wrestling, tremendous movement. He's very flowy. He's hard to time. He's constantly faking, feigning, trying to keep you thinking. He does keep his hands low. He uses, decent head movement to avoid shots, but when he starts throwing, he doesn't really use his head movement anymore. He becomes very hittable. Fighters could counter him, but he's good at countering himself as well. But, obviously, if you stay in the pocket with someone, don't move your head, you're going to get hit back. He has very crisp punches, nice combinations, really nice kicks. He has Sanchez kicks, spinning heel kicks. He's very fluid. You saw that with this KO of John Nakdesi. You saw also where he dropped Tony Ferguson with the head kick. And he has nice leg kicks, good spinning back fist as well. His chin is solid. He's never been finished with strikes. And he's very good at recovering quickly like he showed in his last fight. And he has 4 KO TKOs himself. He has a good spinning back fist in terms of leading it into a takedown as well. He'll throw a spinning back fist right, and then he'll try to get right into the clinch. And, so he is kind of a decent wrestler. He's a former wrestler. He shoots some takedowns. He doesn't really have great finishing ability. He's extremely fast. He's athletic, so he can dart in and out. It can make it hard for opponents to find their range or to tell when he's going to duck under and shoot a takedown or stand up. But he's very hard to hold down if you do take him down. Tamor was able to take him down a couple times. But I don't see him shooting for takedowns really at all in this matchup. I feel like he might shoot for takedowns if he's smart, but I just don't see it in him, man. I feel like Lando's a guy that wants to make it a fun fight for the fans. And I do feel like if he wants to wrestle, he can make it an easy fight. I feel like he could take this guy down and finish him with ground and pound, man. But My opinion, I see Lando Vannata coming out here and having a striking battle with this guy. And I just think that, he's a little bit more polished. He's going to be the guy that's fought in the UFC before and a little bit less wild, even though they're both wild. I think Lando is a little more technical with his game, and I think he has the more power. So I'm going to go with Lando Vannata to win. Kind of a back and forth striking fight via decision, but would not lay that money down on Vannata, man. I mean, he has that path to victory, but I just do not trust him to use that path to victory. So I would not lay down that type of money on Vannata, but the pick is going to be Vannata via decision in that fight. Up next, you have another fight, in my opinion, that's pretty interesting. At first, I was thinking, this is a very, very easy win for Kwangho Kang, and I still feel like it could be a very easy win for him as well. But the more I looked into it, man, the more that line scares me, and definitely not going to be betting Kwangho Kang at that line because, Ishihara could crack, and we've seen Kwangho Kang, especially early on, where Ishihara is very good against guys like Guido Canetti. We've seen him get rocked with some big shots, and we've seen him get dropped before in the UFC. So that gives me a little bit of cause to pause with a guy like Ishihara. But Ishihara is definitely getting one final chance to save his UFC career. This is it. He started his career 2-0 with the one draw with Hirota, but been very up and down since. I mean, actually down. He's 1-4 in his last 5. He was finishing round 1 in his last fight, and he's going to be taking on Mr. Perfect here in Kwangho Kang. And Kang looked good since he's returned from his layoff. In my opinion, he's 2-0, but he did have that controversial split decision loss to Ricardo Ramos in his last fight, so he is 1-1 on the official record books. But Ishihara is a dangerous fighter in round 1. He's a southpaw. He's light on his feet. He's good in and out, and he has nasty straight left hand with big power. He can close the show with it. He'll throw body kicks, inside leg kicks. He does get tired very quickly in rounds 2 and 3. His volume starts to slow. He becomes more hittable. He doesn't disguise when he's going to enter well. He doesn't set his left hand up with any feints or a jab. He will go high with his rear leg. He has decent head kicks. He has 2 draws in his career, and it's because he usually dominates round 1. He almost finishes. Then he gets beat up the final 2 rounds as he tires. And his power is really the only distinguishing thing about his game. He has 8 KOs. And he has a good chin. He's only been finished once by strikes, but it wasn't his last fight. And Ishihara is an average offensive grappler. He likes to use takedowns, especially in the later rounds. He'll use punches to crash the distance, get in the clinch, but it's a bit sloppy. Really feel like he's doing it just because he's a little bit tired. And he's strong in the clinch. He does a good job circling to the back. He'll get suplex takedowns. He can't control fighters against the cage, lower level ones. He'll look for the Muay Thai plum throw knees. On top, he just really looks for control, hold, time to recover his stamina, just to bank the round. And he isn't a good defensive wrestler. He can get out-wrestled for 3 consecutive rounds. He's shown that by losing a pretty embarrassing decision against Gray Maynard. Got completely out-grappled there. And Ishihara also has questionable fight IQ. He doesn't seem 100% invested in his career to me, potentially. He needs to try to take King out in the round 1. Like I said, we've seen Guido Canetti hurt Kang with some big shots early. Ishihara has to try to go out there and do the same. If this fight goes to the later rounds and Ishihara starts to force the wrestling, I feel like there's a high chance he could be submitted here. But Kwangho Kang, he's a big, strong bantamweight. He has well-rounded skills, likes to stalk opponents, keep heavy pressure. He will keep his hands low. He tries to stay loose as he pressures, but he does get his guard up when he gets into range. He needs to be aware of that early because Ishihara is explosive. Maybe could potentially close the distance a little bit faster than he expects. He has nice round kicks to the body, hard hooks. He has very smooth striking. He has nice front kicks to the body, straight punches. He'll throw spinning heel kicks, fight-ending techniques, and he's fast. He keeps you at the end of his combinations. He can also move and counter. He showed that in his last match. He had some nice counter right hooks, hard leg kicks. Did a much better job with his defense versus Ramos. And he can get backed up to the cage. He'll just shell up instead of moving. He has been dropped quite a few times in the UFC, but he's only been KO'd once in his whole career. And he has good recoverability. He has the ability to push through bad situations, come out on top. He only has 2 TKOs, and he isn't much of a standing knockout threat. He's primarily a grappler. He has tremendous timing on his shots, strength on his body locks. He also circle to the back, get standing rear naked chokes. He will also dive on guillotines. He has good double leg entries. And he's a good wrestler overall. He's good at controlling top position. He lands good ground and pound. He'll achieve dominant positions on the ground like mount, throw hard elbows. He attacks with submissions like arm bars, triangles. He's big and strong for the division. He also has good cardio. He's relentless with pressure. He has good scrambling ability, great accuracy with his ground and pound. He'll stand in your guard and just rain down punches. He's active. He will do enough to not get stood up. He was able to control Hamosh on the ground. He was very high level. He avoided the submissions pretty easily. He's very calm in bad situations and hard to submit. He has good takedown defense, and if you do get him down, he has a great guard. He has a good get-up game. He's going to have a major grappling and cardio advantage, and this is a fight he should win. Kang should try to use the path of least resistance, try to control Ishihara early, tire him out, get him on the ground, and find the submission. And I'm going to go with Kang via second round submission. I feel like he should roll in this fight. He just has to be careful not to get KO'd in round 1, and due to that, I definitely am not going to be playing him at that price, minus 430. But I do feel like he should get the job done, and I feel like he could have a dominant performance here. So I'm going to go with Kwangho Kang via second round submission in that fight. And up next, we have the first fighter from City Kickboxing that's going to be fighting on this card with Kara France. He's going to be taking on Rawle Paiva. And, Paiva actually was pretty good, man. I mean, I checked him out, his fight on the Dana White Contender Series. He is a very tough guy. And Kara France, he had a spectacular performance in his UFC debut. I mean, it's a shame they're taking away this division, man, if they do, because such good fighters in this division. But he was able to show up. France was able to show off his full repertoire of techniques. He ultimately won a wide decision. And he's going to be taking on a guy that's 18-1 in Paiva. And Paiva's only 23 years old. Obviously, he's accumulated a lot of experience. He's fought some pretty high-level opponents. And he had a hard split decision win to earn his spot on the roster. He got hurt. He came back and put it to his opponent as well. So obviously could come back from adversity. And he's hoping to extend his 12-fight winning streak here. But Paiva has a good jab. He has strong leg kicks. He'll throw counter check left hooks. He has counter right hooks as well. He'll throw overhand right, straight right hand combination. And he likes to throw a right straight, left hand combination. Left hook combination. He definitely has power in his hands. He's aggressive. He will walk opponents down. He'll try to get him to open up so he can counter. He has a nasty straight right hand counter. He throws his shots with full power because he's not worried about being taken down. He will close the distance with straight punches. He's pretty decent head movement. He'll throw the occasional kicks, but he's pretty much a boxer. His striking is still a bit wild, but he throws a combination. He likes to go to war. He's someone who likes to get things back right away. If he gets hit, he'll return right away with punches himself, and he has 3 KO TKOs in his career. He's a great chain. He's never been finished by strikes. He got hit with some huge shots in his last fight. He was hurt. He was able to weather the storm, take the shots, return with his own. And Paiva's a very strong grappler. He's strong in the clinch. He does a good job using punches to get in the clinch safely. He'll try to jump on guillotines. He'll try to jump on the back at standing rude naked chokes. He's an awesome scrambler, and while he's not a great wrestler, he's good at creating 50-50 positions, ending up in top. And he's excellent at defending takedowns with switches. He can be taken down. He also be controlled against a cage. But off his back, he has excellent sweeps. He'll attack with triangles, with arm bars. His sweeping game is dynamic, man. He turns bad positions into good ones more often than not. He doesn't really look for many takedowns himself besides the occasional clinch takedowns. But he does do a good job catching kicks, stopping opponents, getting on top. And on top, he has nice elbows. He'll work for front chokes such as Darces, Anacondas. He'll look to take the back, and when he needs it in round 3, he really will go for takedowns. He was able to win a split decision in a war in his last match, and it was a scramble fest. And Paiva has incredible cardio. He pushes a fantastic pace. He's much more of a position over submission threat. He only has 2 career submissions. His lone pro loss was via decision, and he's won 12 consecutive fights. He's an 18-1 record, so he's definitely serious. And I imagine Paiva's going to want to force Kara France into a brawl, try to jump on a submission if possible. And he's going to be at a technical disadvantage in this fight. He needs to make it ugly, take shots to give shots, see if he can touch the chin of Kara France, see if he can force a scramble, take the back, get into an envious position on the ground, and see what he can do with it. But Kara France is a superb striker. He's extremely technical. He's a nasty Muay Thai striker. He has a lot of pure Muay Thai fights also in his career. Very technical. He likes to control the center of the cage with a high guard, walk opponents down. Great footwork. He does a great job sliding into rage to land punches, sliding back out. Great job sidestepping, using misdirection to find openings for his punch combinations. He has a great jab both to the head, to the body. He likes to draw out shots from his opponent so he can slip and return with counters. He's a nasty overhand right, left hook combination. He'll pepper his opponents. He keeps heavy forward pressure, heavy volume. He'll double, triple up on his jab before throwing a hard uppercut, left or right hook. He's very diligent attacking the body with hard hooks. He likes to throw fadeaway check left hooks as he's angling off. He likes to slip and throw overhand rights in the pocket. And he has nasty leg kicks. He'll throw high kicks at the end of combinations. Very fluid kicker. When he starts to land specific combinations, he'll fake the same combination, then throw a different strike. Really keeps his opponents guessing. And he has 10 KO TKOs. He's very dangerous in space. He has been KO'd twice in his career, but they were the second and third fight of his MMA career. He hasn't been finished since. And he has been dropped in his last fight, but he didn't seem to be hurt badly. It was more like a flash knockdown, but he needs to be careful because Paiva can crack. But he is an offensive grappler. He uses his wrestling in reverse most of the time to keep the fight on the feet. He's very slippery. He's explosive when fighters try to take him down. He'll bounce right back up. He does a great job getting his back to the cage when fighters attempt takedowns. And he's able to stuff most takedowns. He has a great sprawl, double legs. He does a great job getting double underhooks, pushing off when fighters try to clinch up with him. His footwork makes it very hard to jam against the cage because he does a great job using lateral movement, staying in the center. He had a very competitive fight with Alejandro Pantoja, who's a top 5 guy, top 10 guy in that division, in which he was able to stuff almost all his takedown attempts. In his last match against Elias Garcia, he did an excellent job of getting on top after sprawling. He showed great ground and pound. He'll stand in opponent's guards, rain down accurate punches. Great job of floating, transitioning while keeping top position. He has strong ground and pound in the wrestling right position. He'll force opponents to give their backs. He has been rear naked choked twice. His only 2 submission losses in MMA, but he was able to defend a lot of submission attempts. He was very calm in his last fight. He has 3 submissions in his career. He also has spectacular cardio, keeps a great pace, and Kai Fritz could be the more technical striker. He needs to use that in this fight. If he can use his feints, forward pressure to draw out the shots of Paiva and counter, he will find openings for combinations. He can't get drawn into a brawl by the style of Paiva. Paiva has better durability, in my opinion, and he thrives in those situations and brawls. But Kai Fritz should win this fight. He's the technically superior fighter, and I don't think Paiva has the ability to take him down. I expect a lot of awesome exchanges, and these guys go into war. I think Kai Fritz could win by KO TKO, even at 125, just due to Paiva's style. I imagine he's going to want to go out on a shield rather than lose a decision. And I'm going to pick Kai Fritz via 3rd round TKO in a barn burner of a fight. But definitely think that Paiva's going to be back. But the pick's going to be Kai Fritz going to finish in the 3rd round of this fight. And if it goes to decision, I definitely feel like it's going to be maybe a close fight. But I feel like Kai Fritz should get it done, especially in Australia. Even though he's from New England, all those guys that are at City Kickboxing kind of like are adopted Australians. So I feel like he will get the win there. And even if it's a close decision, I feel like they'll give him the nod as well. So I'm going to go with Kai Fritz via 3rd round TKO in that fight. And up next, we have another guy from City Kickboxing. So they're going to be going back-to-back here with Shane Young, who he's had 2 UFC fights now. He had that short notice fight with Volkanovski. Then he had the big win in his last fight out against Rolando D. And he's going to be taking on Austin Arnett, who, he's 1-2 in the UFC. He's coming off a big win, his first UFC win against Humberto Bandené. And this should be a fun striking match. Arnett, he's a karate practitioner. He's very quick in and out. He has good in and out movement. Definitely going to be the faster guy in this matchup. He has a nasty straight hand. He has a solid jab. He will mix up his lead hand very well. And, he'll close distance with double, triple up on the jab. Then he'll change it to a short left hook or a lead uppercut. He likes to throw left hooks over the top. He'll throw the straight right hand, left hook combination. He has nice kicks to the body, to the head. His head kick is accurate. I feel he should throw it more often. He also has a stabbing front kick to the body. He'll throw side kicks to the body. He has heavy forward pressure. He invites a war. He's tough. He'll eat big shots. He continues to come forward. He proved that. He took a beating when he fought against Brandon Davis. He was bloody. He was battered, but he was still marching forward, talking shit. And Arnett struggles with fighters who are faster than he is, such as Corey Sandhagen, Dawodu, Brandon Davis, where they were able to keep him on the end of their combinations, inflict a lot of damage. And Sandhagen attacked the body heavy, which ultimately led to a finish. Dawodu was able to target the front leg of Arnett and hurt his leg. And Arnett is susceptible to body punches, kicks, leg kicks. He got hurt with the body kick in his match against Bandené. And he also will make a lot of big movements, close distance at times, and not set it up against a better striker that will make him susceptible to counter, and he will pay for that. And he tends to start slow, lose round 1, but he has the ability to take damage, continue to pressure, and that pays dividends in the later rounds. He is able to start to land more when opponents slow down. He starts to implement his game a little bit better. He has 6 KO TKOs. He has a very good chin. He's only been TKO'd once, and that was by body shots against Sandhagen. He could take big shots to the chin, eat them no problem. And Arnett will try to work in the clinch. He'll try to punch himself into the clinch, but it can be sloppy at times. When he gets the clinch, he likes to dig an underhook, and he'll trap a wrist, land hard knees to the body. He has good elbows over the top and off the break. In the clinch, he has good level changes and double legs, but he definitely prefers to get body lock takedowns. His length helps him get easy trips on top. He isn't very active. He really just wants to keep position, use it to win the round, though. And he will take the back if possible. He'll attack with rear naked chokes. He also does a good job landing ground and pound in opponent's guards. He'll go body head. But he has average takedown defense. He does have a nice guillotine. He'll go to his back with it, which I don't really like to see. Because if you're on the bottom, most likely you're going to be losing. But off his back, he doesn't really have great defense. He's been hit with some big elbows in the UFC. He got busted open against Brandon Davis, against Corey Sandhagen. And, he does seem to have a lot of scar tissue. He gets cut open pretty easily. He will get his feet on the hips, get back to his feet pretty well. He has 5 submission victories. He's only been submitted once. And Arnett's going to have a solid speed advantage in this matchup. He needs to use that. He needs to throw his front kicks to the body, round kicks to the body, throw head kicks, close the distance with punching combinations, go forward. He will be the faster fighter in and out as long as he can keep Young on the outside, not let him make it ugly. He has a solid chance to win a range striking fight. But the best way to describe Shane Young's fighting style is professional, man. He's a technician. He keeps to a game plan. He drowns opponents with pressure and pace. And both of these fighters, they have extensive records. They've seen a lot throughout their careers. Shane Young, he's solid lateral footwork. He has strong inside-outside leg kicks. He'll throw nice jabs to the body, to the head. He'll throw oblique kicks to the knees, front kicks to the body. He does a great job after establishing his jab. He'll feint it to create openings for other shots. All the guys at City Kickboxing have great feints to create other combinations. He'll feint the jab, then throw a straight right hand. Even he'll feint the jab, then throw a head kick. He keeps very heavy pressure on opponents. He'll throw a ton of output. He has good double jab, right hand combination. In his last fight, he was keeping Lando D behind the warning track the whole time. He wasn't giving him any room to breathe. He will hurt opponents. He'll swarm with body shots, then try to go upstairs. But he forgets about defense. He can be hurt and countered when he's trying to finish. He relies on his chin a lot. He eats shots to keep the pressure. And, he just overwhelms opponents. He never slows down. He's good in the pocket. He'll mix uppercuts, hooks with both hands. He's very hittable himself. He has 6 KO TKOs. He has solid power in a straight right hand. Fantastic chin. He's never been finished in his 16-fight MMA career. When he gets hit with big shots, they don't even seem to phase him very much. And he's a good grappler. He does a great job mixing in level changes. He has great double leg entries. He always has fighters on the back foot near the cage. It makes it easier to hold them there. And he will go in the clinch. He has good control, knees to the body, very nice elbows over the top. He does leave his hands, though, after he exits the clinch. He needs to be wary of counters. When Young does get fighters down, he does have nice ground and pound elbows. He'll attack with submissions, 4 career submissions. He's finished 10 of his 12 fights overall. He has phenomenal cardio. He just does not get tired. And Young's going to need to close the distance to make this a close range fight, push Arnett back towards the fence. And Arnett's going to have the foot and hand speed advantage in the open. He's going to give Young problems if he could circle, use lateral movement, not get backed up. But Young needs to walk through the shots of Arnett, get him going backwards, attack the body, keep Arnett on the back foot near the cage. If he could start to get Arnett reacting to him with his feints, then he could start to sneak in his right hand, try to close the show. And Austin Arnett's going to need to sit down on a shot and hurt Young. If he can't get Shane Young to respect his, his shots, his striking, he's going to get walked down here. It's going to be a long night for him. He needs to use lateral movement. He needs to not get drawn into a brawl or stand in front of opponents. In my opinion, though, I see Shane Young being able to implement his game here. I see him attacking with leg kicks, front kicks, taking control of the center early, then getting his hand combinations going. I think Young can get takedowns as well. I see Arnett having success landing some shots, but it's not going to be enough to hurt or make Shane Young get off of him. I think Shane Young's going to triple his output. And I think Arnett's toughness will play as a disadvantage to him, and as I see him engaged in pocket wars at times with Shane Young. And I see Shane Young winning this fight. So I'm going to go with Shane Young via decision in this fight. And I feel like he's just going to put it on Austin Arnett a little bit. And up next, Devante Smith's going to get a step-up competition here against Maestro Dong Young Kim, who I guess he changed his name now to Dong Young Ma. So maybe they thought he was getting mistaken with the other Dong Young Kim too much stun gun, so they changed it to Dong Young Ma, but not really sure. But Smith, he won his UFC debut over Julian and Rosa in less than a minute. He's going to be looking to prove he's a serious contender by putting another win in his ledger here. And he's going to be fighting an established UFC fighter. He's won 3 consecutive fights in the organization. And Mai's taking a year off, but his last win was in Australia, so he has that advantage being used to fighting there. He hits a nice jab. He has a very nice straight left hand. He'll throw a leg kick 1-2 combination. He has a decent head kick. He throws a lot of front kicks to the head. He will switch stances. He likes to throw a left hook straight right hand combination from orthodox. He'll throw nice uppercuts in close range. He has a great chin. He proved that with his toughness as well, going to war with Marco Polo Reyes. He still doesn't move his head much. He's very hittable. He holds his hands low. And fighters who can close the distance quickly can't exploit that. And when he gets hit, he'll stand and wing instead of using footwork and recovering. He stands heavy on his lead leg. He likes to jab a lot when he's susceptible to leg kicks. Damian Brown battered Kim's lead leg in his last fight. And Ma does have power. He has 6 KO TKOs, but he doesn't have big power. He's more of a volume fighter. He does have good chin. You do have to put him out to finish him, but he has been KO'd twice. He is a judo black belt. He has solid body locks. He is strong in the clinch, good judo throws, strong clinch control against the cage. He definitely needs to use that here in this fight. He'll throw knees to the body, try to bait control time. On top, he likes to take the back. He has good top pressure. Seems to not have great top control, though. When he tries to get damage off or go for submission himself, even with the judo black belt, he can get people get up from under him, and he can still get control against the cage, take him down himself. He has a good get-up game, though. He's hard to control on the mat. He does have 6 submissions, but they were all pre-UFC. He has been submitted twice in his career. And Ma needs to use grappling in this fight. I mean, bottom line, he cannot stand with Smith. He's going to be at a 6-inch reach disadvantage, along with the speed and the power disadvantage. He can't take the shots against a fighter like Smith, like he usually does. We've seen Smith get taken down, gas out early in his career, so Ma needs to recreate that game plan. But for Devante Smith, he's been on an absolute tear since joining Factory X. He has 3 consecutive KOs, all within 2 minutes. He's an extremely dangerous fighter. He has a nasty jab. He has strong low leg kicks. He has a great jab right hook or jab straight right hand combination. Very good distance control. He moves in and out very quickly. He has good straight punch combinations. His hand speed is elite. He has good body kicks. I think Smith's leg kicks, ability to close distance, will give Ma big problems on the feet. He has dynamite in his hands, real one-punch knockout power. He's ended 8 of his 9 wins via KO TKO. He has been finished by strikes once, more due to being exhausted, put in a position on the ground he couldn't get out of, rather than getting hit with big shots. But Smith is improving as a grappler, especially as an anti-grappler. He tries to use wrestling reverse, keep it on the feet. He's improving his footwork and not allowing fighters to close the distance or back him up towards the cage. He also frequently has strong hips. He does a good job of getting his back to the cage, digging an underhook to circle off. He finished Joe Lowry in his last fight, or in 2 fights ago, with nasty elbows to the head when Lowry was attempting a double leg against the cage. And he does a good job of sprawling, sniffing shots out, stuffing them. He will go for a double leg himself. He has big explosive slams. If he can get his hands locked, he has devastating ground and pound once he gets it to the ground. And when he's on top, he can put people unconscious with those shots. He finished Julian and Rosa with nasty ground and pound. His cardio was a problem in his one loss against John Gunther, but Gunther's a guy who eats big shots, continues to press forward with the grinding wrestling style. And that was also prior to joining Factory X, becoming a full-time fighter. Smith's going to be the faster, more powerful fighter in there. Smith's going to be looking to keep it on the feet strike here. If he can get his hands going early, get off, throw leg kicks, he could get another early finish. He needs to use smart pressure, distance control, be the aggressor, but not be over-aggressive to give grappling opportunities to Ma. And I see Smith getting the job done here. I feel he's too big of a power striker for a fighter like Ma, who's very hittable. I see him being the faster guy with a longer reach, being able to use his jab, his leg kicks, to force Ma to be aggressive to take him down. And I think he's going to take him out with that right hand. I feel Smith's going to be too explosive early. I feel like he's going to be explosive to hard hold down. So Ma should try to move, just play it safe, and then try to get it in round 2 against the cage. Try to work takedowns. If you can get on top, establish position, that'll go a long way in zapping the energy of Smith, ultimately getting the victory. But I see Smith being able to capitalize on Ma having his hands low, catch him with a straight right hand early, finish the fight. And my pick's going to be Devante Smith via first-round KO TKO. I think he's going to keep the first-round streak going and get another knockout here. So I'm going to go with Devante Smith via first-round knockout in this fight. Up next, you have another interesting fight. With Jimmy Crute. He's going to be taking on his second UFC fight. Only 22 years old. He's definitely a guy they're trying to build up. And he's going to be facing Smiling Sam Alvey, who's once again taking another short notice fight. I mean, that's Sam Alvey's thing, man. I mean, stay busy, busy, busy. And like I said, Jim Crute just had his UFC debut. He got a win against Paul Craig. He's going to get another fight here on home soil in Australia, and he's going to be taking on Sam Alvey. And, he's definitely a more recognizable name than his original opponent, Ryan Spann, so I'm sure he's happy about that. But Alvey is coming off a bad loss to Little Nog. He was a big favorite. He was finished by KO in round 2 in a fight that I actually predicted. But he's used to taking these short notice fights, keeping a busy schedule, so he will most likely be his usual self in the octagon. And Alvey is a longtime veteran of the sport. He's seen it all. He's 2-0 in Australia, 2 KO, TKOs, so the travel shouldn't be an issue. And, he's definitely seen a lot of different styles, but Crute's aggressive. He's athletic. He has strong grappling skills. Pretty light on his feet. He's pretty quick for someone his size. He'll throw a jab, straight right hands. He has good overhand rights. He'll throw an overhand right left hook combination. He earned a finish on the Dana White Contender Series with a straight right left hook combination. He'll slip the jab, throw an overhand left. And he has decent head kicks, solid body kicks. He'll throw them heavy, but they aren't very fast. Still a bit stiff with his technique. Kicks are usually a prevalent weapon. Fighters used to be Alvey, so I expect him to come in with a more polished kicking game. He is training with the kickboxing legend and Sam Greco. He still is green on the feet, in my opinion. He uses some big moves to close distance at times. He is hittable. He needs to be extremely careful against Alvey, who has that one-punch KO power. But Crute's a big, powerful guy himself. He has 3 TKOs. 2 were on the ground, so he hasn't shown great ability to knock people out on the feet yet, but he definitely has the power to do so. He's undefeated at 9-0. He's still very durable. He's very confident. He's a very strong wrestler. He has great double legs, quick passes, does a great job getting to side control, then full mount. He gets very high in the mount. He'll land heavy ground and pound punches, big elbows. Does a great job staying heavy in the mount. He won't let it fight or explode up. But he can get too high at times. I have seen him get rolled. But he will attempt leg locks. He does a good job winning scrambles, ending back up on top. Even if he gets rolled off the top position, he'll attack with the arm bars as well. He has nice arm triangles from top position. And he was attacking with nice Kimuras against Paul Craig. He has good takedown defense. He has a good sprawl. He'll circle to the back. He was taken down a few times against Craig, but he showed good defense on the mat. He had good sweeps. And he looked bad in his last match against Craig. He said he had a lot of jitters. I expect him to do it better in this spot. And Craig's going to, not Craig. He should look to move and kick Jim Crute and then try to time takedowns on Alvey. Alvey's had notoriously good takedown defense. So I don't think he should press too hard if he can't get the takedowns to knock us out. But he can't get cracked here because that's Alvey's one shot to win this fight. So I feel like he should use those kicks, long-range striking, and then try to get in the clinch. If he can't find the takedown, find it. But really just try to control Alvey, minimize the risk. And if he can land a big shot that clips Alvey has shown a kind of a chin that's going a little bit as well. So I do think that that's a factor. And I do think that if someone's going to push through fatigue or push through a bad adversity, something happened in the fight, they come back to win, definitely think it'll be Jim Crute, not Sam Alvey. But Alvey will be taking on another short notice fight. He remains one of the busiest fighters in the company. 16 fights since joining the UFC in 2014. And he's 2-1 since moving to light heavyweight. With the win here, he's going to get another top 15 opportunity most likely. And he is what he is at this point. He's a low output counter striker. He's solely looking to land a hard right hook to knock you out. He doesn't throw in combination. He very rarely throws his left hand. He doesn't throw many kicks. He likes to walk forward, stay in your face, just look for openings. He has one-punch KO power, and that's what still makes him dangerous. He will throw the occasional leg kick. He has a good rear uppercut, but overall he's a fighter who will have you yelling at the screen to let his hands go. And he has 20 KO TKOs and 33 wins. He has a good chin historically, but he did get rocked badly in his recent fight with Ramazan Emeev. He got knocked out by Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. And he has been finished twice by strikes in his 44-fight career, but I do think his chin is starting to go a little bit. And for as passive as Alvey is on the feet, he's super aggressive when it comes to grappling. He isn't a wrestler, but he'll catch kicks, he'll get on top, and he'll start to let his hands go, try to finish with heavy ground and pound. And his top game is wild. Unless he has someone hurt or rocks them quickly once he gets to the ground, doesn't have good control. He really just tries to go crazy for the finish. He has excellent takedown defense. He'll attack with front chokes. He got one against Eric Spicey, who's an accomplished BJJ player. And he will get the tie clinch. He'll throw hard knees to the head. He can be controlled against the cage against elite wrestlers, but not sure if Crute could control him against the cage. We're going to have to see. And I don't think Crute could take down Alvey especially right away. And I feel like at least for the beginning of the fight, it's going to be contested on the feet. Alvey does have 3 submissions. He's only been submitted 1 time in his career. He doesn't get tired really because he has that economical style. He's dangerous to finish all 3 rounds. But all Alvey's trying to do is just try to find that right hand. He needs to try to make Crute pay for takedown attempts. Knees to the body, heads to the head in the clinch if he can. But this is a tough fight to call, man. I feel like Crute has power. Alvey looks to have a chin that's fading, but Crute could get easily one-shot KO'd here. And I think Crute's going to be able to push for 3 rounds if he needs to, though. He will be careful in this fight. He's going to have to use his movement, try to walk Alvey into shots, into kicks. When he gets his timing, gets inside, starts to land his own shots, I feel like he's going to start to have more advantage. And I'm going to go pick Crute here. I feel unless he gets knocked out, he's definitely going to win. And due to my feeling Alvey's chin is going a little bit, I'm going to predict Jim Crute to land a big shot, win by round 2 KO TKO. And, really cement himself as someone to watch at that 205-pound division. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute in that fight via second round TKO. And up next, we have a women's fight here with Nadia Kassem taking on Montana De La Rosa. And Nadia Kassem, she had a very lackluster debut. She had a victory over one of the easier opponents in the division via split decision in Alex Chambers. And she came in 120 pounds for a 115-pound fight. And now she's going to be moving up to 125. She's going to face a much stiffer opponent. And she's going to be fighting in her home country, though. And it is going to be De La Rosa's first fight out of the U.S., so she is going to have that advantage for her. And De La Rosa is coming off a hard-fought decision victory finish over Rachel Ostovich, and is the rightful favorite in this matchup. And Nadia Kassem, she's still only 23 years old. She has a lot of room to improve, so she maybe will come in here looking a lot better than she did in her first UFC fight. But prior to her UFC fight, she had 4 fights that all ended in under a minute and 30 seconds, so she really doesn't have a lot of cage time. But she went 3 rounds for the first time in her last fight, and I imagine her looking improved in this spot for sure, but she's still very much developing as a striker. She will throw a decent jab, straight right hand. She throws a lot of kicks, inside leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks, but she doesn't move her head. She doesn't set her strikes up well. She can get countered clean, and she will try to use movement, walk opponents into straight right hands, into head kicks, but she doesn't have great footwork. She's not the fastest on her feet, and she'll move way too far outside, so she'll be so far outside that opponents know she can't do anything, and they'll just wait and counter when she uses that huge movement to get back into range. And she does have a spinning back fist KO. In her first 3 fights, she won them all by KO TKO. So she might have some sort of power if she can land clean. She is undefeated at 4-0. She seems like a tough chick, but she's a very poor wrestler. She allows opponents to get on her legs, take her down very easily. Chambers was able to secure several takedowns, and Chambers is not a great wrestler. Kassem is better at defending takedowns in the clinch, but she still can be taken down there as well. Off her back, she's actually solid. She has good triangle choke. She'll look for arm bars. She'll attack with leg locks. She'll use those to sweep to top position. She will throw hard elbows in top position, but she doesn't have good top control. She has a lot of improvement to do, but she has the attitude, in my opinion, the toughness. She's willing to get hit. She will get cocky in the fight. She'll taunt opponents. She doesn't have great cardio. She was tired in round 3 versus Chambers, and I just feel like she's very raw. But Montana De La Rosa, she's a big athletic girl for 125. She's 5'7". She's a 68-inch reach. And she's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. And Kassem used to be in the bigger, longer fighters, so this is an advantage for De La Rosa, a serious one. And De La Rosa's striking looked much improved against Ostovich. She was trying to accentuate her reach more by throwing a jab, using better head movement, lateral footwork. She still is a bit flat-footed. Fighters who are good strikers will... with takedown defense, will give her problems, but De La Rosa will throw a nice check left hook. She has a good left hook, right hook combination in the pocket. She'll mix uppercuts in with her combinations. She'll throw occasional front kicks to the body, which I feel she should do more. And she's tough. She's willing to take shots, get inside, get in the clinch. She doesn't have great power. She's never won a fight via KO TKO, and she has been finished by TKO 1 time against a top 15 fighter in Cynthia Calvillo. And De La Rosa is very strong in the clinch. She has good body lock takedowns. She will take shots to get in, grab an underhook, then dig her other one, and she's very physically strong in the clinch. She'll use her length to get body lock trips. She has good control against the cage. She'll throw knees to the body, elbows to the head. She has solid Muay Thai plum clinch. She wears fighters out in the clinch. She'll zap their gas takes. She'll circle to the back from the clinch, go for standing back takes. She was able to survive a deep armbar in her last fight. She showed heavy top pressure. She pressure passed to the side control, took the back at the rear naked choke finish. She also quickly jumped on an armbar in her first UFC fight, so she showed some submission ability. She has earned her last 4 wins overall via submission. She has 8 submissions in her career. She has been submitted one time by Mackenzie Dern, but she has a good ground game. And De La Rosa should look to close the distance, get on top, move to dominant position, try to finish the fight. Kasem did not show good takedown defense against Chambers. And while she attacked with submissions, if she couldn't earn a submission against Chambers, I don't feel like she's going to earn one against De La Rosa. And I think De La Rosa should finish this fight, unless Kasem has improved a lot since her last fight, or De La Rosa is like majorly affected by the travel or something. But she's the better fighter. She should be able to get takedowns, control on top. If she doesn't get caught, she'll wear on Kasem. She's the bigger fighter. And it's Kasem's first move up to 125 in a while. I think the size, the skill difference will be evident. And I think eventually she'll find a submission on the ground in the later rounds, late round 2, early round 3. And I'm going to go with Montana De La Rosa to get the win in that fight. And up next, you have an awesome fight with Hani Yahya against Ricky Simón. Really a clash of styles here that's going to be fun to see. And, I've obviously been extremely high on Ricky Simón. He's been on, I broke down 2 of his UFC fights. He's been the most confident pick for both fight cards. So, obviously, I have a lot of faith in him. And he is 2-0. And, this is a great fight. Hani Yahya, after a long career, he's finally gotten a well-deserved pay-per-view spot for the first time. He's won 3 consecutive fights, and he's having the best run of his UFC career here, so he's getting a big step up in competition against Simón. Simón is 2-0 in the UFC. He's a phenomenal wrestler, great cardio. And they're fighting in Australia. They're both traveling from the States, which I feel favors Simón just due to gas tank. And this will be Simón's first fight out of the USA, but I feel like he's going to be ready for that. And Simón is going to be the quicker, more athletic fighter on the feet with more one-punch power. But Simón has a solid jab. He has a good straight right hand. He has a hard left hook. He'll throw a left hook, straight right hand combination. He'll attack the body with big left hooks, very similar to the way Aldo throws those left hooks. I mean, not nearly as powerful or as fluid with them, but same. And he'll throw that left hook to the body, then go right back up to the head with it. He has a good left hook, straight right hand combination. And he'll attack the body with big left hooks, nice rear knees to the body. He'll close the distance with the left hook, left uppercut, left straight combination. He uses his lead hand a lot. He has decent head movement after he throws his first shot. He'll land his jab or straight, move his head off a center line. Then he'll dig to the body. He will throw a nice spinning back fist. He has decent kicks. He'll throw nice inside-outside leg kicks, good body kicks. Occasionally he'll throw a head kick. I feel he should holster the kicks for this match, try to eliminate the risk of being taken down. But when he backs fighters up near the cage, that's when he gets creative with his striking. He'll throw things such as spinning back elbows, flying knees. He'll throw lead elbows, but he is hittable at times because he prefers to stay in the pocket, use head movement in return instead of footwork to evade. In his one loss, he was rocked badly with the shot prior to being finished by submission. And he has gotten rocked in his last 2 fights as well, but he's extremely well conditioned, tremendous recoverability. He's never been finished by strikes. He doesn't have huge knockout power, but he's still dangerous. He has 5 KO TKOs and 14 wins. He's a tremendous wrestler. He was a great high school wrestler. He could have gone to college wrestling, but he elected to do MMA instead. He's a very wrestling-centric in his style. And he has a great job closing distance, getting double underhooks, immediately dumping opponents, nasty double legs. He'll elevate fighters, move directly into side control. The way he ducks under for his takedowns are great. He disguises them very well with the strikes. He'll shoot with his head on the outside on the double leg, but he's diligent to get his head out and not get caught in a guillotine. He needs to be very wary about that. He can wrestle all day. He has an endless gas take. Great job jumping on the back after he gets double legs when opponents stand up. Good job turking the legs when he gets opponents to the mat. Try to slide directly in a bout or take the back. And I expect him to try to use his wrestling to reverse this match, tire out Yahya, and then maybe in the later rounds take him down. And he has good takedown defense, an elite get-up game. He has great scrambling ability. Great job giving his back to opponents and dumping his opponents off the back with explosion. He needs to kind of deny the takedowns from happening at all in this matchup, though, because Yahya is the most dangerous grappler he's ever fought. Simón should use forward pressure, body shots, long combinations, takedown defense. Yahya has gassed badly many times in the past. He's a suspect gas take. And Yahya always comes in with fights with his hair on fire. Simón needs to be composed early. He should use ladder movement and, pick off Yahya with head-body combinations. Yahya is much more of a top-game player. Fighters such as Chad Mendez, Joe Soto, they've won rounds through top position. They've been able to control him on the ground. Matthew Lopez as well. And I honestly feel like if Simón is careful and not getting caught in that guillotine, he will be able to take down and control Simón or control Yahya if he wants it. If Simón starts to win the stand-up, I see Yahya starting to gas, shoot constant takedowns. If Simón can get Yahya in that state of exhaustion, he has a good chance to finish. And Simón is a huge submission threat. He just has 2 submissions. He was submitted. It is one loss. And, but he showed his warrior spirit in that fight once again, going to sleep instead of tapping out. And that, in my opinion, embodies Ricky Simón. He's a guy that's continued to fight, continue to grind, to push, and you have to take him out to finish him. He's an animal, man. But Howdy Yaya, he's a submission artist who was once a specialist, but he's kind of rounded out his striking a little bit more. He has looked excellent since joining ATT. He's going to be looking to earn his 4th consecutive UFC finish. He's very aggressive on the feet. He'll throw with 100% power to shots, no fear of getting taken down. He'll throw a jab, straight right hand. He likes to work his jab more when he switches to southpaw. He'll throw more rear leg body kicks from orthodox. He'll cross the distance with straight punch combinations and throw a body kick. He'll also throw a body kick to an overhand right or right hook combination. When he gets inside, he'll let his hands go. He likes to throw uppercut, left hook, right hook combinations. He'll brawl. He'll get a bit wild. He forgets his defense. He can't get clipped. He will also close the distance at time with big, obvious motions instead of setting it up better. When he's forced to strike, he gets his takedown stuffed. He starts to gas quickly. His chin will go high in the air. He becomes much more hittable. And he is a warrior, though. He gets hurt. He'll go for a broke. He'll start to push the pace, really try to force the fight to the ground. He was dropped multiple times by Mark Hominick before getting the fight to the ground, finding the back end, his submission. He's not a power striker. He has 0 KO TKOs in 35 pro fights. As I stated, he has a fantastic chin. He's only been finished once in his career by TKO against Joseph Benavidez. He's one of the best top pressure jiu-jitsu players in the world, man. He has very nice single legs. He has solid trip takedowns. He does a good job just clinching you and dragging you to the ground. On top, he has great tight jiu-jitsu. He will slowly move towards more dominant positions while looking for chokes, submissions. He has great arm triangles. He'll look to attack with many different chokes. He has submissions in 11 different ways. He has nice kimuras, great back takes. And he takes your back. He has very good control. He's a very good scrambler. But if he gets put on his back, he isn't as effective. He will attack with leg locks to try to sweep, but he can't get stuck in his guard on bottom, loose scrambles. Joe Soto was able to beat him up in the wrestling right position, take his back. And he's very confident. He's a good form. He's 7-1 in his last 8 UFC fights. But his level of competition has been questionable. He hasn't really gotten a marquee UFC win yet. And Yaya is going to be hard-pressed to take down a wrestler like Simón. And I expect him to try to strike here at least early. I think Yaya will come out very aggressive with his striking. Try to kind of pronounce himself as the aggressor right away. I think eventually Yaya will try to get his grappling going. And if he can't somehow get on top of Simón, it could be a problem. But I feel Simón is a better athlete, bigger fighter, better wrestler. I see Yaya having some very early success with aggressive combinations, but I feel eventually Simón's going to catch him, hurt him in the round 1 with the shots Yaya's coming in or in a pocket exchange. And I feel once he drops Yaya's going to start to try his hand more at the grappling. I feel like his gas tank's going to start to go a little bit, and I feel like he's going to be ineffective with the wrestling. I think Simón's going to dominate round 2 clearly, dominate round 3. And win a very clear decision victory. So I'm going to go with Ricky Simón there. And I'm pretty confident in that pick of Ricky Simón once again, man. So my pick's going to be Ricky Simón in that fight. And up next, we have the co-main event and the fight that I feel like a lot of people are looking forward to the most with Anderson Silva against the last stylebender, Israel Adesanya. And, everyone's been making the whole thing about this is like Anderson fighting the Anderson of old, Anderson from his prime. And, kind of has that feel to it, right? Where Anderson's almost 44 years old, man. He hasn't fought in a long time. I mean, I feel like, over 2 years even, maybe potentially. And in that fight with Derek Brunson, looked very slow. And, if he comes with that same type of performance here against the last stylebender, it could be ugly, man, because that speed, just wasn't there anymore. He was timid. He wasn't letting his shots go. And, if he does that against Adesanya is not going to be like Brunson. He's not going to just take pictures with them, stand in the middle of the octagon. He's going to go after it. He's going to try to take him out. And I think it could get ugly if Anderson is still slow. But, man, I mean, we heard Jose Aldo last weekend after his victory talk about, there's people in this game that people forget about, guys like Anderson Silva, guys like himself. And that's a fact, man. I mean, those are special fighters, the elite of the elite. I mean, the best of all time. And if anyone's going to come out here and, pull a rabbit out of their hat, get a big-time victory in a very weird way, knock out a guy like Israel Adesanya, submit a guy like Israel Adesanya out of nowhere. I mean, why couldn't it be Anderson the Spider Silva, man? But, I mean, the Adesanya that fought against Derek Derek Brunson, the Adesanya that fought against Brad Tavares. That guy's just a beast, man. He's fast, he's athletic, he's creative, he has great striking, very good power, and it's impossible to pick Anderson Silva logically in this spot at this point of his career. I mean, anyone that's picking Anderson Silva, I would love to hear their argument, because I feel like logically there's not a great argument to pick him in terms of actual like skill set at this point in time. I mean, if you're just a huge Anderson fan, you want to pick him, you think the line's off, obviously. I mean, I feel like anytime you see plus 500, plus 475 on a guy like Anderson Silva, it's a little weird. There has to be some value there, but I mean, I feel like that's not, maybe it should be like plus 400, plus 350, but I feel like that's a warranted spot for Adesanya. I feel like he should be a huge favorite. Hard to know what you're going to get out of Anderson, but I do feel like this could be the most motivated Anderson's been for a fight in a long time. He did look pretty good against Michael Bisping, and we could be in for a treat potentially, hopefully. I mean, if the Anderson comes back that looks very good, I mean, then maybe he'll be able to do some things. But I feel like the length of Adesanya specifically, the length, the ability to kick with Anderson as well, I feel like that's going to give him big problems closing the distance, man. And I feel like Adesanya is going to be able to walk him down. I feel like Adesanya is going to be the one going first. And I'd be surprised if Anderson Silva lasts all 3 rounds of this fight, but we'll see what happens. And it's a fun fight. It's a dream type matchup. It's a fight that probably no one ever would have thought would happen with Anderson at this age. So pretty fun that Anderson's giving this guy a chance. If he wins, he gets a title shot. I feel like if Izzy wins, he'll probably get a title shot. So it's probably a number 1 contender fight. Very fun fight. And we'll see what happens there. But my pick's going to be Israel Adesanya via first round TKO. And up next, we have the main event. We have the middleweight title on the line. Gastelum against Robert the Reaper Whittaker. And, man, this is a hell of a fight, man. I mean, they did the build-up with the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I wasn't really engaged in the Ultimate Fighter for the season, but maybe that was good. I'm not really sure. But, this fight's going to be good. I know that for sure. And Robert Whittaker, I mean, his last fight everyone saw, that was a complete epic war with Yoel Romero. He took a lot of damage, so you always have to wonder, I mean, with these guys that take damage like that, I mean, how are they going to come back at their next fight? It's been a while since Robert Whittaker last fought. He hasn't fought, I feel like, in almost a year, man, or like 9 months. I think he fought in June. So it's been a while, but he obviously needed a break after a fight like that. And Gastelum, he's coming off a war as well. He had a big-time war with Jacare, and he actually hasn't even fought in a longer time. He's actually almost not fought in since last May. So he's going to be fighting in 10 months. So, I mean, he's had a little bit of a break, but I feel like, the story of this fight's going to be who's distance control. Is Robert Whittaker going to be able to control the distance down the outside, or is Gastelum going to be able to get inside and start to land those big-time hooks and stuff? Because you saw that's exactly what it was in the Yoel Romero fight. And that's the exact same game plan that Whittaker needs to use here. He needs to use those side kicks to the body, the oblique kicks to the knees, the movement, try to sneak in those head kicks, those straight punches. I mean, his jab, his punching technique is very crisp. He keeps a high volume of strikes out there. He has great movement. And he needs to throw those front kicks to the body. Weidman is very successful with the jab, with those front kicks to the body, keeping Gastelum at bay. Whittaker isn't nearly have the reach that a guy like Weidman has, so I feel like Gastelum does have a better chance to close that distance, land a big-time shot here. And Whittaker's a guy that plays with his hands low, man, at times, and you saw he paid for that against Yoel Romero, because he kind of sometimes he'll angle off, but he'll stay in range. I feel like where he thinks he's not in range sometimes, and he has his hands low, he just gets clipped with big shots, man. And I mean, Yoel Romero almost took him out. If Gastelum lands a big shot like that, he has a big-time potential to take him out, man. But I feel like, the movement, those side kicks, the oblique kicks, the straight punches, the jabs, the head kicks, the cardio, the 5-round title experience, being in his home country. I mean, we saw that decision with Yoel versus Whittaker. In my opinion, I thought Yoel won the 3rd round 10-9, The 4th round, 10-9. I mean, he rocked him in the 4th round. And I thought he won the 5th round, 10-8. And they still gave the fight to Whittaker. So, if it's anywhere near a close fight, I feel like most likely Whittaker's going to get the nod there. And, so I feel like Whittaker's going to be able to do it, man. I feel like Whittaker won't get the finish. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum has a hell of a chin. He just walks through shots. He eats them. You saw that he gets Jacare. But Kelvin eats shots, and it could be accumulation. I feel like he's going to start to slow down just solely because he's going to be hit with such an amount of shots, man. I mean, not get tired. I feel like he's still always going to be coming forward, always going to be dangerous. I think he's going to have his moments. He might even drop Whittaker in this fight. But I feel like the volume, the distance control, the ability to move of Whittaker, I feel like that's going to give problems to Kelvin Gastelum. I feel like he's not going to allow Gastelum to close distance. He's going to be able to land those shots to kind of break up his rhythm. And I see him being able to get the win here via decision and retain his title, man. So the pick's going to be Robert Whittaker via decision in the main event. But I do think that the line is a little bit wide. I feel like potentially Gastelum should probably be like plus 160, plus 155-ish. So I do see value there on the line. So, if you feel like you agree with that, you see value on Kelvin Gastelum, I wouldn't really fault you for taking the shot there on Kelvin Gastelum. But, for the parlay of the week for you guys, I'm once again going to do it. You guys, I'm going to give you Ricky Simón for the first guy for the parlay of the week. And the second pick for the parlay of the week, I'm going to give you guys Montano De La Rosa. So Ricky Simón and Montano De La Rosa is going to be the parlay of the week for this week. And for my most confident pick of the week, I mean, I don't want to give you an easy layup like Anderson. I'll say my most confident pick of the week. I'll put it at Ricky Simón still. I'll go 3 for 3 with Ricky. And, some other spots that I like on the card. I feel like Devante Smith, if you want to bet him, I feel like betting him via knockout in round 1. I don't know what the line on that will be, but I feel like that could be a very profitable thing because I feel like that's a very likely outcome there. I feel like if you want to bet Adesanya inside the distance as a potential prop, you want to look into as well. And Jim Crute, I like him as a bet. I like the line that he's at. I might potentially bet him, but it is a scary proposition when you're facing a power puncher like Sam Alvey. Obviously, I like Shane Young. I'm not going to bet him. I don't like the line necessarily. I think minus 280 is a little wide, but I do think Shane Young should get it done. Obviously, I think De La Rosa should definitely get it done. Kai Kara-France against Paiva would pass on that fight, in my opinion. Would pass on the Ishihara fight. I would pass on that Lando fight. I actually took a bet on Callum Potter and Luigi Buren as underdogs. So those are 2 bets that I've placed already. And I also have a bet placed on Ricky Simón. So those are the 3 bets that I have placed so far. And so that's some of the advice maybe that I would give for this card. I do think it's a very good card betting-wise. Have a good feeling we're going to do a very good job on this card. And I did very good on the last Australia card, so sending good vibes, hoping that's going to be another great performance here in the predictions. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the fights last week, and these fights are going to be even better. And make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Almost to 1,000 subscribers. It's actually my birthday tomorrow as well, so that'd be pretty cool if I got to 1,000 subscribers. On my birthday week, it would be a huge milestone for me. So thanks for always supporting. Thanks for watching the show. And I'll see you guys next week for the next UFC event.